Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and thanks for joining me for today's video. And man, I really appreciate you guys putting up with the low tech here we have on Intuitive Angling, because man, you guys never know what you're going to get. It's like, you know, we got crappy audio on the channel here because I film everything with a cell phone because I can't ever get a dang GoPro to work, and I can't figure out how to use the right type of mic. We got chickens running in the room. We got kids coming in here. We got trains and planes making noise. So appreciate you guys putting up with all the distractions, but I can guarantee you by watching these videos that you're gonna get some good hardcore hogging information that's taken me 50 years to learn, that I'm passing on to you, and it's going to help you guys catch some more fish. I can assure you that, regardless of how rough the video quality is. Guys, today we're gonna be talking about the best lures and techniques for the month of September. I've got 5 baits out here that I really like to fish this time of year, so I want to go over each one of them and sort of give you guys the situations they work the best in, sort of give you guys some tips and advice on how to fish them. And make no mistake about it, guys, September is the toughest month of the year to fish anywhere in the country, unless you're fishing up north, you know, where they bite all summer long up there, those smallmouth lakes. But for everybody else, September's the toughest month, man. It's a big transition month. Fish are scattered. There's a lot of different options that you can catch fish in the month of September, and I sort of like it because I like that tough fishing, and it allows you to sort of junk fish a little bit, which sort of fits my style of fishing, you know, pretty good there. Also, guys, before we get started, the 5 baits that I'm going to show you, there's one in particular. I will have everything linked to my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of this video if you guys would like to pick these baits up. It's a really good way to help the channel if you use that link to buy them there, so I really appreciate that. Okay guys, I got one bait I really want to show you here that you definitely need to get for September. If you don't get anything else, it'd be this one bait we're going to get into in a second. So anyway, first one, guys, I want to talk about is the old school. This is a Bandit 200 crankbait. It's like a lot of you guys say, well, Randy, all you do, this is the Megabass commercial. Well, I talk about Megabass a lot because they make the best lures out there in my opinion. But this is one that's not a Megabass lure. That is one of my favorite September lures. It's this, whatever color they call this, any type of a shad pattern. It doesn't have to be this one, but this 200 Bandit right here, for whatever reason, I catch a bunch of fish on it in the month of September. And the places that I like to fish this, my number one place, if you can ever find some type of a shallow drop off, say for example, if you got a flat bank and that bank goes like 2-3 feet and then drops off to 4 or 5 feet, I catch a lot of fish in September on that type of an area. A lot of lakes don't have that type of structure, so you can fish it around whatever shallow wood or rock cover that you have. It comes to laydowns real good. You can fish it around stumps real good. One of my favorite places to fish here in Missouri, this one lake I go to, there's a lot of like, you know, underwater stumps. It's like a jungle of underwater stumps, and I catch a bunch of them in September on this 200 Bandit. Rocky banks, riprap, works really, really good. Most of the time I'm fishing it like on, you know, 12 to 15 pound test, Seaguar and Viz X4 carbon line, but I don't know what it is. They really like that 200 Bandit in the month of September here. Next one I like to fish, guys, I'm just sort of random here, is the Zoom Horny Toad. The Zoom Horny Toad this is not for fishing around heavy cover. The technique that I'm going to talk about here, this is for fishing on open banks and cleaner water. Now, one of the big things that happens in September is there gets to be a all day long topwater bite. It starts to develop and it lasts into October. And one of the things that we use around here around the house, and I've done pretty good around the rest of the country with it, is taking this Zoom Horny Toad, and I like the baby bass color. It's my favorite color. And you're fishing it the same type of places that you'd fish like a walking topwater or a whopper plopper, something like that. Just go down a bank. It can be gravel bank, clay bank, rocky bank, whatever. Just go down that bank and throw this horny toad right to the bank and just fish it on top, just with a slow medium retrieve, just enough to keep it moving across the surface. And the horny toad, what it's like, excuse me, it's like a real subtle buzzbait, because a buzzbait's also a good, you know, September lure, like a small buzzer. But the horny toad has got a really, really subtle blip, 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 blip. So on those days out there where you have a real calm condition, I'll throw this horny toad all day long. Some of the better areas, if I could give you guys a good examples, like go back into a major creek arm and go back into maybe some of the coves or just some of the banks in that creek arm there, get on the flatter banks and throw this thing right up to the bank and look, it helps if you got some shade. That's another thing. Like if you're working down, halfway back in the cove and you got an overhanging tree or something like that, throw it up in the shade is really good. But let me show you how to rig it here that really helps you out too. You don't want to use this thing on a traditional EWG hook because you'll miss them all the time. Take a straight shank Gamakatsu G Finesse heavy cover worm hook and thread the thing on all the way through the bait till almost where you're at the end of it, come out the bottom. And you want to have that exposed hook. We've talked about this before a little bit for some of the videos, but have that exposed hook. Now, when you throw this thing out there, it rides one way or another all the time. Sometimes when you throw it out there, it'll hit the water and it'll come along like this. Sometimes it flips upside down and it's going to run across the surface like that. Doesn't make any difference because the tail action still sounds the same. So don't freak out if one time it comes through like that and the next time it comes through like that. They still bite it either way. But I'm usually throwing that on, 15, 17 pound test Seaguar and Vizex with a fairly stiff, medium heavy 7-foot rod. I do use fluorocarbon on that because you have an exposed hook. Don't need braided line with that. Okay, the next one this is another crankbait I'm talking about, and this is the one, guys, if there's anything that you can take out of this video, it's this little bait right here. This is a new bait from Megabass. It's called the MRX Griffon Bait Finesse. This is a finesse crankbait. It's 1 inch long, and next to the 200 Bandit, you can see how much smaller it is. I'll link this in my Tackle Warehouse link, guys. If anything, pick you up a couple of these in either a shad or some type of a chartreuse pattern. In the month of September, if you could give me one lure to fish, it would be some type of a small crankbait. I think a small crankbait is probably the #1 lure in September if you got the right water conditions. So when you're talking about the MRX Griffin, this little finesse crankbait like this, look for off-colored water visibility of less than 2 foot with some type of a rocky bank, maybe some laydowns too. But my favorite area is like, a riprap bank that's got like 1.5 foot of visibility on it, or some type of rocky channel bank. Throw this thing right up on the bank. I fish it with a spinning rod with 8 to 10 pound test Seaguar and Vizex line. This thing right here, guys, will catch you more bass in the month of September than any lure you can throw. Megabass MRX Bait Finesse Griffin. Link in the description there. Okay, the next one, guys, is an old school, just a black trick worm. Black zoom trick worm. Catch a ton of fish in the month of September on this. This is good in 3 different ways. You can fish it on just a Texas rig, just like a normal Texas rig, like you do everything. Usually I'll fish it like on a 3/16 or 1/4 ounce sinker, flipping it and pitching it around any type of shallow cover. The next thing I do with it is I'll put it on a shaky head, like an 1/8 ounce shaky head, and I'll fish it around some shallower points, maybe 5 to 10 foot off the main lake and secondary points. But one of my favorite ways to fish it, guys, is I don't have one with me here, but there's a head called the Charlie Brewer Slider Head. I don't even know if Tackle Warehouse even has them, but just look it up. It's called Charlie Brewer Slider Head. Get you a 1/16 of an ounce Charlie Brewer Slider Head, guys. And if you have any shallow wood cover in dirty water, like where the water visibility is about 1 foot deep, cypress trees is probably my #1 thing on it. But lay down trees, stumps, or whatever, put you a black trick worm on a Charlie Brewer Slider Head, fish it around some dirty water wood cover, and you'll catch them. And my final bait, guys, is a finesse spinnerbait. This is the Megabass SV3 spinnerbait. It's a small spinnerbait. In the fall time of the year, like in October and November, I will burn this thing. But in September, the fish, they don't bite it real good burning it that early in the year. But this is a really good spinnerbait, this little finesse spinnerbait with the small willies to fish around any wood cover in that shallow water. So my 1-2 punch is I'll take like the small crankbait, like the Griffin, and I'll throw it around, lay down trees or something, and I'll come in behind it like with the SV3 small finesse spinnerbait. And sometimes those fish are really keen on shad during the early fall like this, late summer, and a little small spinnerbait with some small willowy blades is a really good way to catch them there. So anyway, guys, I'm pretty confident. Just try these, give them a try. I think depending upon the lake, the type of lake that you fish, one of these is probably going to work. But if you fish a typical man-made impoundment that has some type of diversity and water clarity, these techniques will work in some part of the lake. So hope it helps out, guys. We'll talk later.